So just pretend like the cameras are not even on.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah. So I know you reached out to me like a few years ago.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey man, are you a wholesaler? And I honestly just went through I liked one of your videos or something happened, and then I'm like, I have talked to Sergio before, so then he kind of came back to me, and your name came up also in the office. There is another guy, realtor.
Cam.
Yeah, he joined the Lindo group over there, so he was also talking about you. I was like, who's Sergio? This was like literally about a month ago.
He just joined Galindo.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was part of my team for a while.
Yeah.
I want him back. He's great.
He's a good dude, man.
He's a great guy. It's just like he wanted to do his own thing, like, and I just need people on my team like non-compete, you know. Well, I didn't know that then. I know that now, like, because sometimes you try things out and see like if you like it or not.
Definitely.
And at first I didn't mind it, but then after a while I was like, you know what, like, he was like becoming a crucial part of the team, and I like that. But I was at the same time I was like, well, like I'm starting to feel a little different. Like, if we're gonna mesh together, then I think non-compete's probably better.
Yeah.
At that point, and yeah, I just it didn't work out at that point anymore. But dude, if everyone wants to come back, Cam, come back.
I hit him up too, just so you know. Recently, I'm like, hey man, I'm like, we can do this. Like, I threw a few ideas out, and I love the way he talks on the phone. He's really good with agents.
He's a closer, man.
And me and you, we're foreigners, right? And you gotta tell me a little bit more about your background and all of that, because I don't know. But I'm from Eastern Europe, and we're not as smooth on the phone compared to like
Cam is world class, dude.
A white kid from Summerlin. You know what I mean? Like he can throw down, and I listened to this guy over and over. I'm like, hey man, I'm like, what do you think? Maybe we can think of something we can do together, this and that. And I think I was maybe a few weeks too late. He's like, no, he's like, I'm trying out this new thing. He's like, I gotta do what's best for me and my family. And I was like, hey.
He's talented, man.
I was like, and I told him that too. I was like, you'll do all right, whatever you choose to do. But I was like, I hope it works out for you, And,
yeah, no, like it's good that like you realize that he like it's good to identify talent
for sure.
It's a different thing, kind of retaining talent. That's something that I'm working on, or attracting talent. But for now, sometimes when I see it, I gotta hire. I know, for example, like one of my VAs, his name's Antonio. He just like came across me one time, like. He's like, hey, I'm looking for work. I was like, I'm not really hiring right now, but let's talk. And then when I started talking to him, I was like, bro, you're hired. Like, you're hired right now. Like, I don't have a job for you, but you're hired.
And I have a question on that, and maybe you can elaborate a little bit. Tell me what kind of pay structure you pay these guys. Like, do you pay them a salary or hourly, or how is that?
Well, it depends on the position.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, your acquisition guy.
Right.
Is it strictly commissions or?
So it's a little bit. You can kind of like make it what you want. For example, like for me, I like to pay anywhere from 8 to 15%. Now I'm leaning more towards 8%. It also depends where the deal comes from.
On the commission or on the profit shares?
Like profit shares.
Profit shares, gotcha.
Like, it just depends where the deal came from. If they sourced it by themselves, or if they sourced it through my means. It makes a difference.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, if you got it by yourself, dude, I'll give you a bigger split. But if it's coming through me and my marketing tactics, then it's a lower split.
Which makes sense, which is fair.
And it also depends, like, how much support there is. For example, are you the closer, and then there's a setter, and there's also an underwriter? Like, how many people are involved? If you're just getting the end, and you're just locking it up, that's important. But how important is it? So it depends. Like, for example, the way I have it set up right now, if I were to get a closer, I would say 8% for me is fair. If they get it through me. If they get it not from me, Higher, do 20%.
So they find the deal.
Find the deal.
Let's say they find it off the MLS.
Right.
They evaluate it. They get the deal.
Right.
Where does the commission go to?
What do you mean? Oh, the commission?
Commission from the MLS.
If they're an agent, I'll let them have it.
Do you let them have the whole thing?
Yeah, but then I would adjust the
pay structural and
the split. Kind of like give them the option, like, hey, you want the commission? They're gonna take the commission, dude.
Of course they will.
So I say, look, you're gonna get the commission. Most likely you're gonna get the listing. So let's do, like, I would say in that situation, let's do 12%.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get upfront and you're gonna get in the back end.
Okay.
And then you're gonna get the listing. So that's fair.
I think that's fair. And a lot of these things, like, we don't have like a written rule or whatever. It depends on deal by deal. Some deals are like a lot tighter, and you're like, hey, I need like 50% of your commission because I need to make it work. And then I always offer the same thing too. I'm like, hey, look, I'll take 50% of your commission, and then if we make more than the target, then we can figure a way to where, like, you can take a bigger split on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if I take the risk, like a higher risk, then it's not fair that you get 12 grand today and then I end up making 6 grand, and I put in all the money, I take on all the responsibility and the risk, and go through all the motions and that stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of part of it too. Like, it could be a stinker and that they're getting paid up front.
And that happens. It happens a lot.
It does happen. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
My favorite way to pay people is salary. But most sales guys, they don't want salary. They want commission. If they're good,
for sure,
they're gonna want commission. So
if you find like a good person, they're gonna want to get paid on commission.
Right. I'd rather just pay you like 35, 40K a year. But if they're any good, they're gonna want more. They're gonna want equity splits.
Recently, I was talking to Ayal. You know Ayal, right? He was also at that meetup that we went to. The Ayal, with a Better Place.
I don't know who that is.
This guy does about 150, 200 flips a year. He's from Israel, super nice guy. He's also got the Better Place construction too.
Better Place?
Yeah.
Like Better Assets?
Better Assets, yeah.
Oh yeah. I see them all the time. I never met the guy, so I don't. What's his name?
Ayal. He was at that meetup at that cigar place that we went.
Introduce me next time, bro. I would love to meet him. Yeah, I don't
for sure. You were standing like very high on the other side. You didn't come in the
yeah, the way they had it set up, like they had a bunch of like tables,
right?
And it was like everyone's over here. There was a circle, and then we were like on the outside. But
yeah, you didn't come where the action was. But Ayal was sitting right next to me, and I've known this guy for a long time, and for a while he did all my flips, like on the construction side. So I got to know him really well, and I've learned a lot from this guy too, especially on the construction side.
Yeah.
So I asked him, because he's doing hundreds of flips a year. So I was like, and I know he's acquisition people too. I'm like, hey man, I'm getting ready to maybe hire someone on the acquisition side. I also want a little bit of freedom too. Like next year I plan on taking some time off, and I want someone to like hold it down for me,
Right.
I'm like, how do you pay these guys? I'm like, just kind of want to get an idea. And that's why I asked you right off the bat, how you pay your guys.
Well, let me tell you one thing that I realized when I was working with Cam. Like, he was killing it, dude. Killing it. Dispo, acquisition. He was
telling me.
And he was working 10 to 15 hours a week. And he started becoming the highest paid dude in the company, which is great, But I started to realize, like, man, dude, like, this guy is, like, killing it, which is good. But, I mean, I could also do this work. And I'm over here doing admin work. And, and then I really thought about it. I was like, dude, I think I'd rather just hire admin and stick to sales. It just makes more sense.
I see.
And in my head, it just made way more sense. I was like, this is the move. I'd rather hire an admin or two and stick to sales and work 10 to 15 hours a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the better play. I think a lot of guys like me and you would get to this position where admin is 80%, sales is 20%, but for some reason we hire the sales and then we stick with the 80% of admin. And I think that's a huge mistake.
So last year, I don't know, we go back to that to Ayal, but last year I was in a partnership and we did more flips than I'm doing now, and we did hire a admin or an assistant, and that was a huge help. Like in the beginning, the first quarter we hired her, like all the paperwork was gone. It was really nice. So me and my partner were handling the construction, and we're also handling the acquisition and all of that ourselves. So it was a little bit of relief, but it's still a lot of work, man. Once you get, like, at one point, which is the most we've ever had, I think we had like 16 properties at once, and it was just me and him. It was a lot, like, and then you start making mistakes. You know, you start not visiting this project, and then 2-3 weeks go by. You're like, dude, what's going on with this property? Like, and you go over there, nothing is done. You're like, dude, where's our guys at? And then you got to follow up with these guys, and because you focus too much on like acquisition, and then you have all these properties, and then you're not manage them correctly. You buy material and it gets lost. You know, you go to Amazon and buy like thousands of dollars in material, and then you just ship it over there. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, I'm missing a sink, I'm missing this, I'm missing that. We do that ourselves, like all the ordering and all that. I'm not sure how you go about it, but
I can tell you what I do, but tell me more about what you do first, and then I'll
okay. So we get the property. We have construction people that we use pretty much the same contractors, and I go in the first visit with them. I walk them through. For the most part, most properties are the same. I either go with black fixtures or stainless steel.
Right.
Last few properties I've been doing stainless steel, and I'm liking it a lot more. By the way, I don't know why. It looks a little bit more classic. It looks a bit more nice, I guess. So we go do the walkthrough. Okay, we're doing the shower. We're changing the cabinets, or if we're keeping the cabinets, then we just restain them. Countertops are always a go, and we go through the game plan, and then I go in by myself, and then I go through the whole property, and I order everything that I need on Amazon, like from faucets to light fixtures to sinks for the kitchen, of course.
And where do you order the
shower heads,
the stuff to go to? Where does it go?
So when I do a lot more than and it depends where the property is too. If it's in like iffy area, you know, I ship them to my house and then take them myself. But I try to ship them directly over there. If it's in a decent neighborhood and the guys are working, then I ship them over there. But if nobody's working for like 1 week or two, then I'll just ship them to my house. And it still gets mixed up, man. A lot of stuff get mixed up. Like yesterday I was going in my garage, and I found like 4 boxes of material that
really,
like, I didn't even know that were there. So that's kind of what I do. And then for hard material, like if they need like concrete or tiles and all of this stuff, Home Depot, and the contractors go buy all that stuff themselves, and then they call me, and I pay for it over the phone. And then I use Floor and Decor for tile and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's kind of how I run the whole show. But I manage the guys. I schedule different people to go in. Electrician, for example, is one of the people that
you do that.
Yeah, I schedule them myself. Yeah, and I do all that myself.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, and I also list my properties myself too. And I was listening to your stuff. I know that you don't listen to your properties.
No.
So yeah. So tell me a little bit about all of that. How you run your projects.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. So let's do like a project management. So my dad, he's part of my team, and he hires all the contractors, and he hires one guy, and that guy hires everybody.
Yes, right? I do similar, yeah.
So he doesn't like hire the plumbers or whatever. He hires that one guy, and that guy's in charge of either doing the work or hiring everybody else. And his job is to hire, write a contract, and then visit the properties every week. So every Wednesday, he goes and he does a recording. I can show you. Today's Wednesday, so he's probably dropping videos right now. And he just adds like a 2-minute video on the WhatsApp, and he does like a 2-minute property walk of the video. Of the property, so I can see what's being done, right? Like visually, so I don't have to go.
So you never go to the properties?
No, no, I don't. I go because I'm the acquisitions guy, so I like part of the acquisitions is to like do a visual walk, so I do walk the properties once, but after that I probably never see them again.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That is very interesting. Man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, what is the right terminology of, you know how some people, old mentalities, that they don't let go of things.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't go to the properties, like nothing is getting done. You know what I mean?
but why is that?
I like checking them out, like making sure everything is okay, like just staying on top of it. Yeah.
This is what we do. We go on Wednesday, and we tell the contractors, okay, I'm gonna come back next Wednesday. What items are you gonna get done next Wednesday?
I see. That's a good point.
And then we show up next Wednesday. You complete all the items. Cool. Here's your paycheck. You didn't do anything. Hey, that's a problem. I'm not gonna pay you this week.
For sure.
Most of the time they get it done, so they get paid or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, we just help keep them accountable. Like, what do you think is gonna get done? We're gonna paint. Great. Oh, when I come back, it's gonna be done, right? Yes. Cool. I'll pay you for the paint when you do it. So you don't have to like check on them like every single day. Like they're working, you know. And if they're not working, you only lose a week. And if they're a good contractor, which most of them are, I haven't met too many bad contractors.
Yeah.
Mine a couple.
Man, I got some stories for you.
I mean, I've had some bad experiences too, but for the most, 80% of the contractors do the job well, if you watch them once a week. Yeah, you'll get a guy that runs away with your money every once in a while. That's like 1 out of 50. They don't do it that much. 1 out of 25. It's not very common. It happens to you a lot?
In the past, I've learned my lessons. Yes. In the past, I've learned my lessons.
No, for us, we pay them by the week, and if you pay them by the week, they don't ask for big chunks. If you give them chunks, then it's a lot of money. Then you run the risk of losing big money at a time.
For sure.
But if you pay them every single week, what is it, like $2,000-$3,000?
Yeah.
It's not much.
Depends on the team how big it is, but yeah, about that is about right.
It's not too much money, and like, you pay them, they ghost you. Okay, cool. Hire somebody else. You're out $2,000. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like a deal breaker where like you give them half and you're out like
for sure
$20,000. Like, dang, dude, like you run away with all my money.
Yeah. So I'll piggyback out of that one. In 2021. That's when I started doing like a lot of deals. Like I think we did like, me and my partner at the time, we did like maybe 21 flips, which was the most we've had done at that time. So we were just kind of running out of people, man. And we bought this multi-unit in Pahrump, and we were gonna keep it as a rental, but we couldn't find anyone to do the work out there. So we looked over here, and we found a guy that said, "Hey, I'll do it." He's like, "I'll just drive over there every day and do it." We're like, "Great!" And we had a bunch of properties over here, so we were occupied over here. So he's like, "We'll do the 3 payment thing." He's like, "Give me a quarter up front, and then a quarter in the middle, and then the rest is like,
right,
give it to
like
me." At
traditional. It's like
yeah.
normal.
So we're like, "No problem." He's like, "Yes, I'll just collect that like tomorrow." We're like, "Great." Collected the check. It was $8,000. Collected the check, and then he started showing us some videos, demo, this and that. We're like, "Oh man, this guy is quick. He's doing good. He's doing what he said he was gonna do." A few weeks go by, we kind of didn't hear anything from him. Being busy on this side, just holding it down over here. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "I'm about halfway done." He's like, "You guys think I can get the second check?" We're like, "Yeah man, come on in, no problem." So he comes in, give him the check. Went about his way. A few more weeks go by. We're like, "Dude, we haven't heard from this guy. Where is he at?" Like, so we kept calling him, and then he started like not picking up anymore.
Ghosting you.
Exactly. So we're like, "Shit." So we took a drive out there, and sure enough, whatever was done that day, that's pretty much.
That was it, huh?
That was it, and that guy left, and then over here, we had a couple other guys, same year. They're like, "Hey, we need work. So we started giving them like 2-3 properties. The first property they got done really quick, like maybe in like 3 weeks. And we're like, "Man, these guys are good." And the price was like unbelievable.
Right.
Almost too good to be true. So and that's why. So they're like, hey, we need more projects. We need more projects. So we ended up giving this guy about 5 houses at once.
Yeah.
And a few weeks go by, we started going checking on this property. So and he started collecting checks for all of them. A few weeks go by, we went to some of the properties, and this guy, he had taken the keys out of the lockbox. I'm sure you do the same thing. You put a lockbox there and you just leave it there.
Right.
He had taken the keys out of the lockbox and had covered all the windows. I'm like, hey man, where you at? We need to get into this house. Like, oh, I was just there. I'm going on lunch. Okay. Go to the next property. Same thing. I'm like, dude, why is there no keys over here? He's like, I just don't want people to break in and this and that. I'm like, but where are you at? I'm like, you got all these projects. You're asking for work. But I'm like, you even taking the keys. I'm like, I leave the keys over here for a reason, all right? I'm like, you can't just take my keys. He's like, okay. He's like, just wait there for like an hour. He's like, I'll be back. I'm like, dude, I don't have an hour to wait over here. I was like, I'm just going to go and I'll be back tomorrow. He's like, okay, no problem. Sure enough, I go back to the office, do my thing. The next day, make my rounds again. Same thing, dude. Like, no keys. I'm like, bro, where you at? He's like, I'll be over there in a little bit. Can you wait for me? This and that. And that's when we kind of figured out. They're like, yeah, we got screwed again. And
that's crazy.
And I think that year we lost maybe like 45,000 on bad contractors.
Right.
The good thing about that though, these properties, and this was 2021, that
the market was going up, right?
The market was improving so much that it kind of helped us out. We got a lot more money than that.
Just by waiting a couple months.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we ended up selling those houses for a lot more, and we made a lot more money than we would have if we had sold them.
They should have been losses, but the market, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah. and what do? You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we learned something, and we've also made money on top of that. It still sucks. I don't like losing money like that or getting hustled like that, but
right.
I think it's part of the business.
Yep. No, that's true. Like, the way that we avoid that is we only give the contractors one property at a time, and then we walk it weekly, and like that eliminates the majority of the problems. And just doing like a video walk. You know, you can see everything.
And then you see what was done last week. Like,
exactly.
Dude, like, you haven't done anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you forget, you know what I mean? Like, if you see like 5-6 projects
right.
in the same day, you like kind of lose track a little bit.
Yeah, I can go through like the videos and I can see all the progression and stuff like that. And
very good.
So we haven't really having like any big issues when it comes to that side of it. Not too much. Yeah.
That's good. Well, that happened to me in 2021, and then 2022, we have this other guy, this contractor, and I've had this guy for a long time. I always gave him work. He comes in and he was going through some stuff like family stuff, like his son got into some trouble with the law and all of that, and he's like, Dino, he's like, dude, he's like, I need more houses. He's like, I need more support for my son and this and that. So did the same thing. We started giving him more work, and then he started subbing it out to other contractors.
Yeah.
Same thing. We gave this guy at once probably like 5 or 6 houses, and it was just him and a couple other guys working, and then he started subbing out to other people too. And one of the properties in particular that this really screwed us up, and this property we bought this house in July of last year, which that's when the market turned.
Yeah.
And we got this property under contract in around July, and then it took about a month and a half to close, and then I saw the market change.
That's when it changed right there.
That's when it was changing. So the wholesaler is like, hey man, he's like, we can close on this tomorrow. I'm like, bro, we gotta get a reduction. I need like a $15,000 reduction. Yeah. Because at that time, like July, I knew I overpaid for it because I was banking on the property going up. So I was like, dude, the market is changing. I'm like, I need a reduction.
You asked for reductions?
Yeah.
Dang, dude. I feel like they blacklist you if you do that too much.
No, well, I mean, I don't do it. I've done it like from wholesalers a couple of times, and, and they understand when, like, and they know that. Hey,
so you don't do it all the time. It's just emergencies.
No, like it has to be like you have a reputation. You know what I mean? You don't want to.
You want to keep your word. As
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And I always have. In this particular time, I'm like, look, this what's happening. I was like, I think you know what's up. And he's like, no, I do. He's like, well, let me ask. So he asked the seller for a reduction. The seller's like, hell no. So, and I told him, I'm like, look, I'm going to buy it. I'm like, and the reason why I'm going to buy it, I was like, because I don't want to break the relationship with you. And I was like, it's already here. I was like, if I break even, I'll be happy. But I was like, just so you know, I'll probably lose like 10 grand on this property.
Yeah.
He's like, cool, man. Thank you. You know, blah, 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 whatever. We keep going, bought the property. So this contractor subbed out this property, and this was on the lakes too, nice areas, 2 stories, 1,700 square feet, 2-car garage, stucco, you know, all the bells and whistles. So give it to another contractor. I go there a couple of times just to check on the project. It's right next to the office too. So one of the times that I went over there, one of the workers is like, hey man, he's like, have you paid our guy? Because we haven't got paid. I'm like, yeah, I paid the guy, but I was like, I'll talk to that guy, you know what I mean? Because I don't like, when I go to construction sites and like people have their own workers, it feels like I'm trying to steal them, you know what I mean? And I try to talk to them as less as possible, just because I don't want any issues down the line, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I leave. I called this guy. I was like, hey man, I was like, this is what this guy said. I was like, have you been paying them? Because I was like, I know you got at least a few checks. And I remember the project for the labor for that was like around 15,000, which is like a pretty general. So I was like, are you already at like almost half? And I was like, it doesn't look like 50% of the work has been done over there. So I was like, whoever you put on the house, I was like, you need to check them. I was like, otherwise I was like, I'm not going to give you any checks, any more checks. He's like, okay, I'll check. So he checked. He comes to my office on Friday. He's like, hey, I need $1,500 for this property. I was like, bro, I was like, you know that if you give this $1,500, you're not going to see this guy. And I was like, I will give it to you because I was like, I trust you. And if I do trust you, I was like, if I give you this check, I was like, if they bail on you, I was like, you're going to cover, right? He's like, I got you. He's like, no problem. Cool. Give him the $1,500. Sure enough, those guys bounce. 2-3 weeks go by. I don't see no movement over there. And this guy's already busy with a bunch of other properties. So I'm like, dude, I was like, the time is not on our side, man. I was like, we need to move on this property, you know? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to go to California for a couple of days. Like, when I come back, he's like, I'll get on it. I was like, cool. Comes back, starts the property. These guys, whoever was working there, maybe those workers, they didn't get paid. So somebody had put concrete on all over the drains.
No.
Dude, this was like a nightmare. And that poured concrete on the drains, and he tells me, he's like, hey, this what happened, you know? He's like, I was like, look, man, I was like, whatever it is, I was like, we gotta figure it out, you know, you gotta do it. He's like, can you at least cover the materials? I was like, done. I was like, you cover the labor. I was like, I'll cover the material. And I was like, let's just move forward. And I was like, at the end, I was like, I'll pay you a little bit more, but just so you know, I was like, I'm already losing money on this house. So I was like, we just need to move it. So he ended up doing the job. We got the property. Everything was good. And then, have you ever dealt with gas meters before when there is no gas meter on the...
I just bought my first one like that. So
with no gas meter?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a whole nother story on this. So we get the property gets done, and then now we're like, okay, so since we're gonna list it now, we're like, let's call the gas to come in and turn on the gas, so that way when inspection comes, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
So we called the gas company, and the gas company is like, yeah, there is no service address for that property. We're like, what do you mean? They're like, this is on the lakes. Every house on the lakes has gas. They're like, yeah, we don't know. They're like, there is no service address for this property. We're like, okay, so who do we talk to? They're like, there's nobody to talk to. They're like, there's no service address. So a week goes by. I'm like, dude, we got to figure this out. Like, there's gas over there. There's no conversion, because some people might convert it to electrical or whatever. So long story short, we got in touch with someone that deals with that department, and they had to send someone to dig in a line again from the street. That took like 3 months, just so you know.
No way.
It wasn't like oh, we get there next week. They're like, oh, we're so booked. They're like, we need like a month, and then a month goes by, nothing, and then 2 weeks go by, nothing, and then they dig the hole, and then for whatever reason that hole was open for like 2 weeks, So it was like a night. This property was a nightmare from the start to the finish, bro.
Damn, dude.
Long story short, we ended up selling it in December. So we bought it in like around this time. We ended up selling in December, and we lost about $46,000 on that house total.
It's not that bad, dude. It could have been worse.
That's my biggest loss. My biggest loss. But on the good note, we had a lot more properties in the first quarter and second quarter, and we killed it on all of those properties. So if you really think about it, on a lot of properties, we made like $50,000 more here, $30,000 more there, you know,
Almost
$60,000.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it comes with the territory. You know, you take risk. If you win on 10 and you lose on 1, it's not that bad. You know what I mean?
No, dude, it's nothing to cry about. Like I think if that was your first deal, then you're done. You're done for 5 years. You know that you're dead. Yeah,
no, you're done for life. You're like, I'm gonna go back to my night job that I was working at before, and I'm just gonna chill over there.
Imagine like when you're first starting out, you have no money, like you lose $40K.
For sure. Oh, you're done.
That's devastating.
Your whole family is gonna talk down on you. They're gonna tell you, "I told you so. It wasn't gonna work." You know, you had a good job. I don't know. Have you ever had a job?
Yeah, of course.
What's your background on that?
I was a school teacher.
You're a school teacher? No kidding. What grade or what subject?
Eighth grade science.
Wow. Yeah. And how old are you?
33.
You're 33 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Science.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And how did you like that?
Dude, I loved it. It was cool. It was amazing. There's no job in the world like teaching. The fulfillment you feel, the students, the staff, the respect that you get, the disrespect that you get.
By the way, my sister is a teacher, so.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's the closest thing you get. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I feel like that's the closest thing you're gonna feel to being like a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice. I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and I coach their soccer teams, both of them. And it is like an amazing fulfillment, man. Like you get to see these kids, because in the soccer you get them from like no experience, and then you build them up every time.
So you know what I'm talking about.
It's truly amazing. By the end, I took my son's soccer team. Last year we made it to the semifinals, which is amazing.
Oh, let's go.
From the first year, I think we won like 1 game. First season, second season we won like 3 games, and then third season we dominated like 18-0, 12-0. Like sometimes I would take all my good guys out and put like my defenders up front, and they'll still be scoring, you know. So it's an amazing feeling to take these kids from like nothing to like building them up. And
yeah, man, there's nothing like it, man. Like I don't think there's another job that will give you that feeling, that satisfaction. I think just like being a parent, I mean, I'm not a parent, but I'm sure that there's nothing else like it, and there's nothing that could ever replace those feelings.
It truly is a journey, man. Being a parent is a journey. Every stage is so different. You know, you go from like changing diapers to then forming a personality to then liking certain things, and the love and the love that you get from these kids, man, it truly is unbelievable.
And it's kind of like asking like, you know, do you like flipping or do you like being a parent better? Like you can't even compare. That's kind of what teaching is like. Obviously the downside is, I think I was getting paid like $45,000 a year, and I was working 8 months out of the year. So dude, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
$45K to work eight months. Like not a lot of people get that.
Holidays off and all the
holidays off, weekends off. You could literally get a job for the other 3 months. I was a realtor on the side, so I was making 55 as a realtor.
That's
45
amazing.
as a teacher. I was making 100K, dude. So, dude, I was chilling. It was nice, you know what I mean? But yeah, I just had like bigger goals. It was mainly my parents. They have like no retirement. They had no savings, and I was just like, dang, they're hitting that age where my dad's a plumber, works with his hands, and he just it was getting harder and harder for him. And I saw that coming a while back, and that's really what pushed me to the edge to leave teaching and to start doing that. And I mean, I couldn't support my parents the way that I do if I was a teacher.
For sure not.
So.
For sure not. And I think the salary of a teacher is good enough, I guess, to make a normal living. If you have 2 incomes, for example, like you and your wife,
Yeah.
say you're both teachers, you're making right now it's probably like around 55,000
Right.
because of the inflation.
That's not bad.
So you make like $110. I mean, you can make a very comfortable living, man. And then this is how they get you. They get you on the pension side. You know,
Dude,
what I mean?
the pension is nice, dude.
Right. So
Super
like they're
nice.
like, well, if you put in 20 years or whatever it is, I don't know
Yeah.
exactly, but I think
don't
it's
know.
around 20. Then you get like 90% of your salary. So if you end up with like 90 grand at the end of your career, then you make like 80 a month, 80 a year in
and I think
in pension.
the problem with teachers is that the problem with most people is that they're living paycheck to paycheck. You know, they get paid 45, but they're living on 55.
Their life is
It's the lifestyle thing, and like that's the problem. And not just with teachers. I think they say 70% of people are paycheck to paycheck.
probably more, yeah.
Maybe more, but that's the main problem. Because when I was there, I was like, "There's a lot of money." Like, I was able to save a lot of money to do my first flip, all this other stuff. So I think they get paid compensated like exactly well, like good, for what they do, and it's a good job. I just think that them and a lot of other people, they just need to maybe listen to like Dave Ramsey, like just some basic.
Yeah, my
Like-
father loves Dave Ramsey.
Some basic like financial literacy / education to like, you know, this is your retirement, this is your saving, this is like a lot of people don't have that, and I saw that a lot in the teaching space. You know, these teachers have been teaching for years, decades, and they're getting paid 80 grand, 85, almost 90 grand, and they still don't have any money. And then they go to retirement, they cut that in half, then they get paid 45. But they're living off 90, now they're getting 45,
sure.
so they have to keep working. And it's not that they're not getting paid good. It's just, like I said, it's
Just
just
the decisions that they make. They get the nice cars that they might not need, or they just spend money, or they don't make investments.
right.
Like when I was working, I was a bartender on the strip.
I'm sure that's even more common in bartending. You're
Yeah.
like 95% of them
Dude,
just blow their paychecks
These
that
guys
week.
are making like $100 grand a year, and I'm like, and they're like, dude, I don't have money to pay my rent. Not even a house, my rent.
Right.
I'm like, how? I've always been pretty good with my money.
Right.
Now that I haven't done stuff before, like gamble or drink or stuff like that, because when you're in that lifestyle, man, you get up work at 2 a.m., you kind of go out sometimes and make bad decisions or whatever. But I'm like, how do you not have money? You make exactly what I make. I know what you make.
Right. I know what you make because I make it too.
Yeah, I'm like, I have never had issues with paying my rent. If
Right.
anything, I'm like saving a lot more money.
Yeah.
But it's just the lifestyle, man. And a lot of them bank on like, I used to work for a union, so they're like, well, if I put in 20 years in union, I get an extra pension and plus my pension, and that's my retirement. Once I got into that point to where I got like a really nice job, and it took me years to get there, by the way. Got the nice job, making like really good money, full time. Because you might get like a good job for like, but you work like 2-3 days a week. It's not as good as working 5 days. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, what's next now? I'm like, I'm making like 80 grand a year in union, benefits paid for all me, my kids, my wife. I'm like, am I gonna make 80 grand for the rest of my life? I'm like,
yeah.
oh, this
You
can be.
hit the ceiling.
Yeah, once you hit the ceiling, then you, because up until then you just try to chase the dream.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
okay, I got to get to that point. And once you get to the top, I'm like, am I gonna make 80 grand for the rest of
Is
my
this
life?
it?
I'm like, is this like? I'm
Yeah.
like, this can't be right. I'm like,
Yeah.
and then all these people over there, they'll be like, not to put them down, because I have a lot of great friends out of that job, but they're like, yeah, but you get like $800 more a month if you put in the time with union and this and that. I'm like, dude, I can buy an apartment for like back then like about 100,000 and make 800 a month. I'm like,
right.
why do I have to put in 20 years over here just to get $800 a month extra for my pension, you know? So that's when I made the decision. I'm like, dude, real estate has got to be it. And that's what drove me even more. Other than my kids and my family and my wife. My wife is the one that pushes me a lot more than I even push myself. So
Interesting.
but our idea was to get out of that business so that way we can have like a normal family, like work Monday through Friday, right? have dinner at home at night with my kids. You know,
Right.
put them to sleep like a normal family.
That's
We wanted to
important,
create like a good culture.
Right.
And I'm like, eh, she's the one, right? Because I was happy. I was still okay with working at night and all of that. But she's like, dude, she's like, you know, what are we teaching our kids? Like, you know, you can get into real estate, do this and that, and then we can create a nice culture at home, and you being at home at night, not waking up at like 11 a.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what pushed this whole idea of getting into real estate, and
Interesting.
and it really changed. It changes lives, man. It really does. Once you get into real estate, it's like you realize the opportunities that you get just by being in real estate, you know. So I don't.
No, like yeah, me neither. I think real estate has definitely like changed my life too. I've been able to hire my parents, able to take longer vacations, pick my schedule, earn more money for, you know, like the better work that I do, the more money that I make, the better I become. That's not always true with every job. So there's a lot of benefits, and kind of once you cross that line of like, I can replace my income from my other job, that's kind of like the point where like you can't go back.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't go back anymore. It's like
No.
I'm making more money now. Like it doesn't make sense to go back.
And you have all the freedom, like, you know,
Yeah.
as you were saying, like, especially for me, having kids, like being able to coach them for soccer. If they get off early from school, I can go pick them up. Like, my kids are my priority. Like, everything else can wait. Like, if my kids need me for something, man, I'm there. I don't care what I got going on. You know what I mean? Everything can wait. And that's what I love about flipping, the freedom that you gain. Even as a real estate agent, you don't gain this kind of freedom, because when you're an agent, your client calls you, dude, we got to go see this house, and especially in a hot market, and you fail to do that, then they might move on to someone else, right? But in flipping, you just kind of run your own show, and that's
Right.
that's the beauty about it. If I can go check out a property today, then you can't wait until tomorrow. You know what I mean? Or you can wait until later.
One of my questions was gonna be like, you mentioned that, well, you project manage the flips, right? Well, that's number one, and then number two, you list the properties. Why do you list the properties for?
Man, that's such a great question. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, why?
And I love listing my own properties.
Okay.
Every time I list the property, I make a really good relationship or rapport with the other agent, right? I'm in control. I make decisions. If, for example, big list of repairs come in, like, I can choose what to do and what not to do. So I see it as a relationship gainer ordeal. I'm not sure if that's the right terminology or not, but every agent that I work with, by the end of that transaction, I make sure that they won't forget me anymore, you know? I tell you what, man, I've gotten so many deals just by being nice to these agents, because they're like, we all been through bad transactions, right? You're representing a buyer, and then the listing agent is total douche, or the seller is being really hard to deal with. Repairs come in, whatever the case may be, bad appraisals, and the deals just kind of fall off, or it's just not a good experience. I always try to make a good, after we negotiate the price down and we agree to that, after that, like, I always try to make it as smooth as possible. Repairs come in, I try to do everything that they ask, always. I always make a good rapport with them throughout the transaction, talk to them, always tell them what I do and all of that. And there's been quite a few agents that actually have brought me deals, like good deals. So some of the best deals that I've gotten is from agents that have bought one of my flips. You know what I mean?
Really?
So this one guy, for example, and ended up becoming really good friends too. He purchased the property. He gave us a big list of repairs. Got all that done, and he's like, "Dude, thank you so much. This and that. Everything." They closed the property. Everything was good. 2 weeks later, he hits me up. He's like, "Hey, I got this property. He's like, there's cat pee over here, and I don't think this is a good fit to put it on the market." He's like, "Do you think this is something you can get?" And this was in Silverado Ranch, really nice property. So I ended up buying that, and that ended up being one of the really good deals that we bought, just for being nice to some agents, and also the exposure that you get too. I like to gain more exposure as well. So that's that's one of the ways that I figured list my own properties, be full in control of the whole listing, kind of be present of what's going on if you get in any action on the property or it just, I guess, all feelings, you know what I mean? But I personally enjoy that, and I don't think I'll ever give it up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's it's literally the first thing I gave up.
Yeah. I know. I've heard some
It's
of your
literally
stuff.
the first
If
thing
you
I
can,
give
if you
up,
can
dude.
collaborate on that a little bit.
Well, I mean, on the first one that I did, it was like my first or second transaction as an agent, and I got beat up.
Yeah.
She beat me up on reductions. She beat me up on the repairs. We made it like 5K on the flip just because of those things.
Wow.
Yeah, she
when
beat
was
me.
this? How long ago? When was your first flip?
2018, 2019.
2018.
Around there.
Nice.
Yeah, she beat me up like 15K reduction, and then she beat me up like 10K plus repairs. I think another 15K, something like that. It was insane. She got me like on 30K, like.
Wow. From the price, from the
Yeah,
list
dude,
price.
I want to hire her. Whoever she is, she's so good. She killed me, dude. She smoked me, and after that day, I was like, dude, I'm not doing that again. I think I listed one more property, and then I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
You know, there's always like some good agents that like are sharks out there, and you just kind of got to feel them out.
Yeah.
And before, especially when we have multiple offers, man, like, and that's another reason. Like, I kind of talk to these agents. It's not always about the price. Like, if it's within a couple of $1,000s and I have a better buyer, I'll give up that $2,000 or $3,000, even $5,000 to go with this buyer that is more qualified, that I know is going to perform, and it's not going to beat me up on the repairs. It's reasonable, right? As long as they're reasonable, it's all good.
Yeah.
But if you choose the wrong agent, and this is why I like being myself the listing agent, because then I get to talk to them and kind of get their story. I always ask questions, you know, how long you known this buyer, what are they trying to do, are they buying it for themselves, you know, just kind of get an idea, you know, and you learn a lot. And agents, you know, agents sometimes they open up, they spill the beans.
They always do.
Yeah, so it's great, and I get to experience that firsthand rather than having another person
Tell you.
kind of making a decision on my behalf, you know. And I guess this is my controlling side of myself, that just like on the project managing side, same thing with this.
Well, I see it like this, like, you know, for me, it's, I don't get calls on the weekends, because I work 9 to 5. I work 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every single day, Monday through Friday, and I don't work after 4. My phone is like, not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pick it up. On the weekend, same thing. I'm not picking up my phone. Like, I tell people like a joke, like if I get $1 million deal and it's 4:05, I'm not picking up the phone.
Damn.
And that might not be true. I'm probably picking up the phone.
Yeah, it depends who it is and all of that. For sure.
Right. But for the most part, like when someone calls me, dude, I just flip it over. Especially if I'm with my girlfriend, dude. Like if I'm with my girlfriend,
Good for you, man.
I will put down that.
Good for you.
Like I'm not gonna pick it up, you know. So for me, like the agent side of it just cut into my life a lot too. The phone never stops ringing.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And like when you make yourself available, and I'm guilty of this, 100% I'm guilty of this, and sometimes it takes a lot of time out of family time, or you know, when I'm out with my wife, I get calls or friends, or you know, I do a lot of favors like for people, like
Right.
like, hey, can you draw me a lease agreement for this property? And I do all this just for friends, like close friends, and I just send it to them, and they do their own thing. I don't manage any of that, but little things like this, and or they ask me like, hey man, this thing broke in this property, what do you think? Or so what I'm trying to say is I always make myself too available, I think sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of takes away from family. If you're at 9 p.m. and you get a text, and then you respond to that text, and boom, like whatever you were talking to your spouse or your kids, kind of gets that attention out of the conversation, and I am definitely guilty of this.
And I see a lot of guys do that, and that's kind of what it takes in the beginning to get going. But after you get momentum, like me and you, like you kind of have to make a decision. Like what's more important? My health, my family, my relationships, my faith, work. And you literally have to put them in order. Which ones do you think is more important? And for me, business is like 5.
Good for you.
It's not even close. You know what I mean? Like, my family is like up here, my girlfriend's up here, my friends are up here, my health and then my business is like fifth. Literally, like, and
Yeah.
and to me, it's like a game. It's like a game. Like, okay, I have 40 hours from 8 to 4, strict, kind of like soccer, like a soccer game. It's only fun because there's rules, right? If there was no rules, it wouldn't be that fun.
No.
So I give myself rules. These are my rules. 8 to 4, go, make as much money as you can. Focus, dig deep, and then if I don't finish something, I do like the Ryan Pineda, because he was my coach. He said he does the same thing or something similar. Like, if you don't finish your work between that time, you need to either be more efficient. You were messing around on YouTube, or some system is not working, or number two, you need to hire. So you either need to build systems or you need to hire. So like if I'm working, I'm like, damn, dude, I didn't even finish half of what I needed to finish. Those two things are happening: bad systems, or not focusing, or I need to hire. And that's the game that I play. I work, and then some days I'm like, damn, there's too many. Hire, and I start hiring people, or I start fixing. Like, okay, what's my system? Do I need to fix this? And I start fixing the system. And it's just like to me, it's like a game now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really nice, man. That's good. That's really good. Like I said, me personally, like I have made myself a lot more available than I should,
Right.
and that's kind of my downside, and that's something that I probably need to work on.
Yeah.
You said that Pineda is your coach.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your mentorship and all of that.
So I'm into the Future Flipper. I don't think it's called that anymore. I think it's called Wealthy Investor.
I see.
So they just changed the name recently, but I've been in it for like 3 years.
Really?
And
Very cool.
when I first did it was right after I did my first flip. I was buying my second flip when I joined, and then I've been able to pretty much double like my activity every year. This year we did 14. That's like
Good for you.
our record.
It's really nice.
Yeah. So I'm really happy with it. It goes down to like in the beginning you really need people like to answer your questions. Like, hey, I don't know about
For
this.
sure.
Hey, I don't know about that. Like those little questions that stop you. That's really helpful. After you get past that, it's more about like the networking. Like, oh, I met this person. I met that person. They're telling me this. They're telling me that. And then, each year I got something different out of it. So I can't say it was one thing. But I see myself being in coaching for like the rest of my life, whether it's with Ryan or someone else. I just got so much benefit out of it. I just joined Collective Genius.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, good for you,
Bro.
You gotta get like personal invitation over there or something.
I'll invite you if you want to join.
Yeah,
Dude, it's amazing. It's amazing, dude. Like,
tell me a little bit more.
okay, I'll tell you a little bit. So basically, they have 3 tiers. The lower tier, I don't really know how to get in it or anything about it. I'm in the middle tier. The middle tier, I think it's based off like revenue, like
I see.
400 to like $1 million, something like that. And the top tier, I think, is like $1 million to $2 million plus, right?
I know Casey Ryan is on that. Tyler Hubbs and Ryan Pineda.
I've seen Tyler. I think Ryan left, but he was in it.
Ryan left?
Ryan left. Well, I haven't seen him. He might still be in it, but I haven't seen him. Yeah, he might be still in it. I don't even know. But anyways, I'm in that middle tier, so I don't see Casey Ryan. I don't see Ryan Pineda. They might be there, but I don't see them. I'm in like the middle group.
Okay.
And
speaking of Kiavi, do you use
yeah,
them or you use it?
Kiavi's my preferred lender.
Preferred lender?
I use other lenders, but Kiavi, they treat me good, man. They close on all my deals. I'm on their pro account, so they close me like 5 days now. And it used to be like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
but I think the more you use them, like the better
yeah.
they treat you. And right now they're treating me pretty good.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah. How about yourself? What do you use?
Right now, I'm not using any lenders. I just buy them my own cash.
Oh, dang.
I do have another investor that if I'm out of my cash, because I cannot buy like hundreds of homes, you know what I mean? I don't have that kind of money. But once I retire my money, then I go to another investor that I use, and we go 50-50. But it's all cash. You know what I mean?
Why cash? Why not just borrow the money?
I think the interest is very high right now, and the risk is very high as well. So I don't want to get buried on like buying a property and taking like 6-7 months to like turn it over, and then just paying all the interest. So this year I've done a lot less than last year, but I'll make more money this year than I made last year.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So and the risk is a lot less than financing them.
Interesting.
And buying them with an investor, the deal that we have is we go 50-50 on the properties. He funds the whole thing. I don't fund anything, even the rehab. He funds everything. And then if we make money, it's 50-50. If we lose money, it's also 50-50. So if we lose 50 grand, then I put 25, he puts 25. So that way I think it's only fair. You know what I mean?
That sounds like a good deal. Dang, dude, that sounds.
I think it's a lot less risk, and you don't pay money. You don't pay a lot of money on holding costs because we don't pay interest on that. It's just cash money that he puts up. So I don't pay like a monthly ordeal, which that helps out, I think.
Yeah.
And I can pay a little bit more sometimes for deals.
Oh, for sure.
From against people that use hard money lenders.
Oh yeah, we're always like the lowest
Yeah.
offer on the table most of the time.
Yeah, sometimes like I buy these properties and people are like, dude, how were you able to buy this? I'm like I don't know, it makes sense. My thing is about 8%, 8 to 10%.
Right.
If I hit that number, I'm cool.
Right.
I'm always conservative. I don't take high risk properties. I probably bought like 1 or 2 properties I've done maybe 80 flips so far. Probably bought in downtown, like in the hood. In the hood, I probably bought maybe 2 properties my whole life.
Wow.
My whole career over there. So I always buy properties that have garages, stucco. I don't care about the roof if it's tile or shingles. But decent areas, like, feel good properties, you know what I mean? If it's a condo or townhouse, obviously no garage. But if it's a single family home, like, my first question is always like, does he have a garage?
That's why we don't compete, bro. Because that's all I buy.
You do?
Dude, I buy only hood houses.
Really?
Only.
Wow.
Oh, dude.
That's crazy.
Oh, man, I love it.
Dude,
you know why?
Tell me a little bit more.
Because
that's funny.
Because there's less competition.
Yeah.
When people drive the neighborhood, they see the house, it scares over half the investors. They start running. So for me, it's just like less competition, and since I'm using financing, my offer is lower, and it's usually me and like another dude. It's like me and one other guy because nobody wants to flip in those areas. And
you get break-ins in those areas. The electrical is probably messed up.
Oh yeah.
The plumbing is messed up.
Yeah.
That's why, and the turnaround on those is like much longer than
right.
This regular mop and glow properties. No, we always do a good job.
And that's why I love them, bro. I wouldn't be in business if
if
I was competing with you, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think most investors prefer to flip in the nicer neighborhoods. And I just can't compete there. I've tried. I
see.
I buy one out of every 5
really
are in the nice areas.
That's crazy.
Majority are in the like rundown hood. Yeah. Like
I'm always in decent areas. The area I don't care as long as it's got like the stucco and stucco doesn't matter that much. But the garage and it's a decent house, like a cookie cutter.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. You know what I mean?
Like, for example, I'll give you an example. I think last year we listed the cheapest flip on the whole MLS.
Really?
Yeah. And we listed it for $260.
I see.
And we
2-1? Was it a 2-1?
No, it was a 3-1. And we bought it. Dude, we made a killing on that thing. I think like 40, 50K on it.
No kidding.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we rode the market, number one. that helped. But, like... Dude, I mean the hood is not that bad. I mean, in my opinion, and most of my after sale values are under 400. 90% of them, they sell under 400. And that's just.
I'm about there, like under 500 ordeal.
Under 5?
You know what I mean? Yeah, under 5. Maybe like I've done properties up to like 7 and some change. That's the highest.
Right.
Resale, and this was like a few years ago, which now that same house is probably worth $1 million. But for the most part, I try to stay on the entry-level homes, man. They just get picked up. The pool of buyers is so much bigger on those homes than
you're like right above the median.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
so it's still pretty good there.
I mean, I've been doing good, man. I've been doing good.
Killing it.
I've been doing good. Nice. Like this year, the least amount of money that I made on the flip was like 28,000.
Yeah.
20. That was the worst that I've done. I just recently sold that one. Everything else has been like well above that.
Yeah.
So maybe the market changed. Like whatever we bought like in the beginning of the year, kind of we hit on those.
It's competitive
a lot more
right now. Still.
Yeah, like all the flippers now are overpaying. I think
Competitive on both ends. Competitive for the end buyer, and it's also competitive for us right now.
I think the prices are inflated at this point.
Oh yeah.
For the flippers, because like right now is the end of the summer, and going back a few years,
We're going to slow season.
we're always going to slow season
yeah.
right now. You know what I mean? So, but they're paying premium. They're paying premium prices. So I can't even compete. Like last few weeks I've been making offers on properties, dude, getting blown out. I'm like, well, all right. Well, you guys gonna learn the lesson.
Good luck.
You know what I mean? I'll see you guys next year when you're not around.
Exactly. No, I say that all the time. Like, but you know what? My favorite time to pick up flips is the last quarter.
Yeah.
Because everyone's on holiday.
Yep.
Everyone bought flips that were.
Everybody's a little bit nervous because
they bought them Q3. Now they're listening to Q4. They're sitting like, oh, I'm not gonna buy another one. I'm just like, that's when they load heavy.
Yes.
Because especially when you sell them, you're selling them when the peak is about to start, like in March. Boom, you hit them in March or in February, you're killing it.
So December, January, every property that I've bought in this, even November is okay to buy.
Oh yeah, October.
Every property that I've purchased in this couple of months, last few years, bro, made a killing
every
on
time.
all of them. And I've noticed that too, because like I also have a license, and sometimes I do help friends and family to purchase houses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
January 1st through 7th, bro, I get like 8 calls. Hey man, I think I'm ready to buy a house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people going to the new year, you know, new energy. Like they're like, okay, this year I want to buy a house. You know what I mean? So what
Something
they do
about it, yeah.
So they start looking, and I think the first quarter has always been really good to me. Even second quarter is always amazing. So
and it's crazy, man, because people stop buying the last quarter, and then it picks up it's like the perfect time to flip.
Right.
But people like they get it wrong. They ride the high of the summer. They buy at the end of Q3 like right now, and they list it like November, December, and they're just like crying.
That's when it's like the lowest of the low.
Like nothing's moving.
It's terrible. It's terrible, and I've made that mistake too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, oh man, the market is so good, this and that, but then, dude, it slows down. November, October, you know what I mean? Holidays come around, it slows down.
The worst.
Even December, late December is not that bad. It starts picking up a little bit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is what I've noticed last couple of years. But yeah, next couple of months is terrible, and that's why I'm like, man, you know what? I was talking to my wife a couple of days ago, and I'm like, I wanted to do maybe like 4 or 5 more flips by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if I buy 5 flips today, I said, or this month or next month, I'm like, if I get these properties, I know in 2 of them I'm probably going to lose money because I think we're going into a very slow season. The interest rates are going to get spiked again.
Think so?
That's what they keep saying. The interest rate might get spiked again. I'm like, if it starts slowing down, I'm like, I might lose on 2 properties, break even on 1, and then make money on 1. I'm like, maybe I'll just wait around, buy 1 or 2 very conservative ones that have like a lot more cushion, and I'll just do that. You know what I mean? And maybe take some time off during the winter. You know, like I got an RV, so maybe we'll take some trips.
That's perfect.
And hang out with the kids on the weekends and stuff like that. And that's what I figured. So I'm gonna kind of stay back a little bit next couple of months, and then come November, I'm gonna start being way more aggressive. Next year I'd like to do around 30 to 35 properties in flips, and I think next year we're gonna have a really good market, just because I think the elections are coming, and I believe, and I think I've heard this once or twice by by some people, that they might lower the interest rate next year. So
and if Biden's going to do it to win.
And if they exactly, if he wants to win or if he wants to have a shot at it, he's got to lower the interest rate.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to lower the interest rates, and if they do lower the interest rates, I think more sellers are going to sell and more buyers are going to come back in the market. All these buyers that can't buy right now because the interest rates are super high, I think they're going to come back in, and maybe we'll have another early 2020. I don't know.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, 2021, 2022.
That's honestly that's what I'm thinking. Also, I'm also trying to do like 30 flips. So we got similar goals, and dude, we'll see what happens, man.
I think it's doable as long as the market stays even if it stays even.
Right.
But right now it's just the it's like walking on eggshells, man. Like every day is like, okay, what's happening? It's like is it a good time? Is it not good? Is it not a good time? And I see why. You know what I mean? Like we shouldn't even have like as strong as a market as we have right now. You know what I mean?
Shouldn't. Yeah.
8% interest rates, bro. It's like crazy. $400,000 house is like $3,000 a month. It's like,
And people are fighting over it.
Right. It's like, dude, who's excited? Who can afford $3,000 a month? If me and my wife were working normal jobs and we had like a $7,000 a month, you know what I mean, income, how can you leave? You know what I mean? 3,000 is just your mortgage, and then you got your car, which is another 1,000, right? 2 cars, 500 each. That's average for people for a car payment. Then you got utilities, and if you have kids and this and that, like, dude, $7,000 is not enough.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but people always push the limits. They always, like we mentioned earlier, living paycheck to paycheck. You know that and I think that those are the people that are doing those decisions right now.
Yeah. So yeah, man.
Well, let's wrap it up, dude. I got one more question for you, because we're a little bit over, but this is my question I like to ask everybody.
All right, hit me.
It's kind of cheesy. All right. So, what about real estate investing? Like, one thing are you most passionate about?
You know, I like the. I'm the adrenaline chaser, man. I like finding the property. You know what I mean? Like, it's just exciting to get a property that looks like crap and turn it into gold and then sell it, and then it just becomes like every step is like a adrenaline ordeal. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of like an adrenaline junkie, so I enjoy that part. You know, being able to find a property, renovate it, put it on the market, sell it, and make money. It's just, I think it's a privilege. You know what I mean? It's just amazing. So that's what turns me on the most. I like rentals too. I have like a few rentals. That's kind of nice. Every time you buy one of those, is like cool. You know what I mean? I just raised my income a little bit, or my income. You know what I mean? My residual income. So that's kind of nice too. But I enjoy finding the diamond in the rough, I guess.
Right now,
and turn it into like the diamond that it's supposed to be. You know?
Yeah.
So that's the excitement about being in real estate for me.
Interesting.
And the freedom that I gain.
Right.
But we already talked about that, so. But yeah.
Damn, dude. Well, thanks for being on, bro. Man,
Thank you so much.
How was it?
It was amazing. It was great.
Was
Thank
it
you so
difficult?
much for having me. But no.
Oh, you're welcome.
No, this is just natural. You know, just having conversation. You know what I mean? This is my first podcast ordeal, so it's been nice.
Good experience.
It's amazing experience.